For the benefit of you folks who are listening on the radio, we know a lot of folks didn't get into the show tonight because we had a sellout here, but I'd like to remind you that this entire show, the same show that's here on the stage tonight, plus I think some others, will be in Texarkana at the College Auditorium tomorrow afternoon for a big matinee show there. And then I think also there'll be in El Dorado then tomorrow night. So if you didn't get in to see the show tonight, we're awfully sorry, but you can get to see the same show in Texarkana tomorrow afternoon. Right now, I'd like to bring out a young fellow who was a regular member of our Louisiana Hayride cast for a good long time. We're real proud of him because he has gone on to great things. One of the greatest recording stars in the business today. Records for Columbia Records. We want you to give him a big welcome, the one and only Johnny Cash.
To weeping willow how to cry, and I showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky, and the tears that I cried for that woman gonna flood you, big river, and I'm gonna sit right here until I die. I met her accidentally in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it tore me up every time I heard her drawl, southern drawl. Then I heard my dream, went back downstream, for Borton and Davenport, and I followed you, big river, when you called. Took me to St. Louis later on down the river. A freighter said she's been here, but she's gone, boy, she's gone. I found her trail in Memphis, but she just walked up the bluff. She raised a few eyebrows and then she went on down alone. Now won't you bat it down by Baton Rouge, River Queen, roll it on. Take that woman on down to New Orleans, New Orleans. Oh, I've had enough of my blues down in the Gulf. She loves you, big river, more than me. Well, you asked me if I'll forget my baby. I guess I will someday. I don't like it, but I guess things happen that way. You asked me if I'll get along. I guess I will some way. I don't like it, but I guess things happen that way. God gave me that girl to lean on, then he put me on my own. Heaven help me be a man and have the strength to stand alone. I don't like it, but I guess things happen that way. You asked me if I'll miss her kisses. I guess I will every day. I don't like it, but I guess things happen that way. You asked me if I'll find another. I don't know, I can't say. I don't like it, but I guess things happen that way. God gave me that girl to lean on, then he put me on my own. Heaven help me be a man and have the strength to stand alone. I don't like it, but I guess things happen that way.
Lester Brazil, the man to see for transportation, whether you want to haul pigs, pies, pulpwood, or people. And if you want music, the man to see is Johnny Cash.
How high is the water, Mama? 2 feet high and rising. How high is the water, Papa? 2 feet high and rising. We can make it to the road in a homemade boat. That's the only thing we got left that'll float. It's already over all the wheat and oats. 2 feet high and rising. How high is the water, Mama? 3 feet high and rising. How high is the water, Papa? she said it's 3 feet high and rising. Well, the hives are gone, I lost my bees. Chickens are sleeping in the willow trees. Cows in water up past their knees. 3 feet high and rising. How high's the water, Mama? 4 feet high and rising. How high's the water, Papa? She said it's 4 feet high and rising. Hey, come look through the window pane. The bus is coming, gonna take us to the train. Looks like we'll be blessed with a little more rain. 4 feet high and rising. How high's the water, Mama? 5 feet high and rising. How high's the water, Papa? She said it's 5 feet high and rising. Well, the rails are washed out north of town. We gotta head for higher ground. We can't come back till the water goes down. 5 feet high and rising. Well, it's 5 feet high and rising. Thank you very much. Nice to be back to the Louisiana Hayride again. Always a pleasure. Today we came in a little early and we found out that our good friend Tommy Tomlinson is back in the hospital again. He was Johnny Horton's guitarist, and he broke his leg over, and I think Tommy is listening tonight if he feels like it, and we'd like to dedicate this next song to him and also dedicate it to the memory of Johnny Horton, as we've done on every show that we've done ever since November was a year ago when we lost Johnny. One side of our new single release, a song of inspiration called When I've Learned. I met the master on my knees. I was tested, I was tried. I've seen the God of heaven paint the fields and countryside. I've been the husband of one wife, heard my newborn baby cry. But when I've learned enough to really live, I'll be old enough to die. Old enough to die. I've always been a hard-working man. No stopping place have I found. Though I'm tired, I'm still inspired. At night when I lie down, I've learned to kinda like the surf, but I sometimes wonder why. 'Cause when I've learned enough to really live, I'll be old enough to die. Old enough to die. Been a hard-working man, no stopping place have I found. Though I'm tired, I'm still inspired. At night when I lie down, I've learned to kinda like the surf, but I sometimes wonder why. 'Cause when I've learned enough to really live, I'll be old enough to die. Old enough to die, old enough to die.
Thank you, Johnny. Johnny's going to be back a little bit later on in the show, and we'll just let him sing till you've had all you want. Incidentally, that last number that Johnny sang was his brand new Columbia record. It's a beautiful one, When I've Learned Enough.
This young man is back in Shreveport today and has really set records here tonight, I think, with the audience that we have in the Municipal Auditorium. He got his start right here on the Louisiana Hayride. Comes from up Arkansas. And he's another one that just walked in and said, I want to be on the Louisiana Hayride. And we said, all right, John. And we put him on. And, of course, today he's star of radio, TV, talking pictures. As a matter of fact, his movie's in town right now, 5 Minutes to Live, with Johnny Cash. Give him a big hand.
I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps a-rolling on down to San Antone. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. Me from this prison, if that railroad train was mine, I bet I'd move it on a little farther down the line. Far from Folsom prison, that's where I want to stay. And I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. Thank you very much. Thank you. Before we go any further, I'd like to tell you about the fellows we have with us, in case you haven't met them. The Tennessee Two, of course, have been with me for about 7 years, and ever since we've been in this racket business. And we haven't had the heart to tell him, but he's been dead 2 years. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. Well, you know him, don't you? That's Luther Perkins. Let's make him up. The fellow on the drums was with Carl Perkins for about 4 years and played drums on Blue Suede Shoes and How Can I Miss You When You Won't Leave? W.S. Holland. Hey, Luther, you want to sing? He was going to sing a calypso song. He said he put grease on his hair and the word slipped his mind. The fellow on the chewing gum is the best bass player on stage right now. And a very good boy, because everything he steals he sends to his mother. Marshall Grant. I'll tell you what, Marshall is going to sing for you a little later on in the show. He's going to do an Arabian song, one called Oh What a Bag Dad Had, in 1927. We'd like to dedicate the next song, though, to all the servicemen, because the servicemen here tonight? Oh. Because it's a prison song. I was in the Air Force for 12 years, from 50 to 54. I just wonder about all the servicemen here tonight. When I was in, all our cooks were carpenters. Because every morning for breakfast, we got something on a shingle. On a Monday, I was arrested, On a Tuesday, they locked me in the jail. On a Wednesday, my trial was attested. On a Thursday, they said guilty, and the judge's gavel fell. I got stripes stripes around my shoulders. I got chains around my feet. I got stripes around my shoulders. And them chains, they're about to drag me down. On a Monday, my mama come to see me. On a Tuesday, they caught me with a foul. Oh boy. On a Wednesday, I'm down in solitary. On a Thursday, Lord, I start on bread and water for a while. I got stripes around my shoulders. I got chains around my feet. I got stripes around my shoulders. And them chains, they're about to drag me down. We'd like to say that on May 10th this year, we're going into Carnegie Hall. Where's Carnegie Hall, Luther? Mississippi. With Gordon, Terry, Johnny Western, the Carter family, Tom, Paul, and the Glazer brothers, and Mac Wiseman for our show. And we're going to record on the stage at Carnegie Hall an album. And one of the things we intend to record is a reading. It's one of our very favorite poems. I think a beautiful story. We'd like to do it for you. We hope you enjoy the Ballad of the Harp Weaver. Once my mother told me when I was knee-high, son, you'll need clothes this winter, and not a rag have I. There's not a thing in this house to make a boy's breeches. I don't even have scissors for the cloth, nor thread for the stitches. There's nothing in this house but a half a loaf of rye and that old family harp of ours that no one will buy. Well, that was in the late fall, and when the winter came, I didn't have a pair of breeches nor a shirt to my name. But my mother said, son, come climb on my lap and I'll warm those skinny little legs while you take a nap. And we'd rock back and forth to a Mother Goose rhyme. And boy, we were happy for about an hour's time. I've heard it said that year the winter was very bad. I know we sat on the floor because we burned what chairs we had, except for one chair that Mother couldn't break, and that old family harp of ours that no one would take. One night I was sick with a cold and my mother sang me to sleep. And when she laid me on the floor, I thought I heard her weep. But then I saw her sitting in that one good chair with a light shining on her from I couldn't tell where. But she looked 18 years old, not a day older. And there was that old harp leaned against her shoulder. Well, she began to play that harp, and her hands moved rapidly. Then threads ran through the harp strings from somewhere that I couldn't see. Then all colored threads began to glide right through my mother's hands. I saw the thread turn into cloth, and I watched the cloth expand. And she wove a boy's jacket, and when it was done, she laid it on the floor and wove another one. She wove a long red coat, and what a sight to see. That coat's for a king's son. I said, couldn't be for me, but I knew it was for me. She wove a pair of breeches, and quicker than that, she wove a pair of boots and a little woolen hat. She wove a pair of mittens. She wove a little blouse. She wove all night in that cold, barren house. And she sang while she worked, and the harp strings spoke. But her voice never faltered, and the thread never broke. But when I awoke, there sat my mother with that harp against her shoulder, looking 18 years old, not a day older. A smile on her lips and a light around her head. But her hands were on the harp strings, frozen dead. But on the floor beside her, piled 6 feet high, were clothes good enough for a king, just my size.
Giddings. Okay. Sing it real loud. Joe Giddings. Okay, Joe. I'll do it one time for you, Joe boy. Johnny Yuma was a rebel hero. Johnny Yuma, the rebel, he wandered alone. He got fighting mad, this rebel lad. He packed no stars, he wandered far, where the only law was a hook and a draw. The rebel, Johnny Yuma was a rebel. He roamed through the west. Johnny Yuma, the rebel, he wandered alone. Fighting mad, this rebel lad. He was panther quick and leather tough. If he figured out he had been pushed enough, the rebel, Johnny Yuma